The same update that added Mei Mei and Hanami also reworked Higuruma, and the rework completely changed 2 of his moves, made huge changes to his 1 that changed the purpose of it a lot, and changed his R special to be way more gimmicky and interesting. His combos are way more consistent and easier to pull off, and his mix-up game is just as strong, if not a little bit stronger than before. His ability to cheese neutral engagements is also incredibly good now, and every single thing he got in this update justifies the 10 less HP they gave him, with Higuruma being a very versatile character who can rush down, punish people for rushing him down, punish people for blocking, punish people for not blocking, and kind of just do everything really well. This video is going to go over the changes and the state of Higuruma after the rework. But before that, make sure to subscribe to know more about all the JJS characters. Now, let's get started. For the simple changes, Higuruma's HP was changed to 90, so it's 10 less HP than before. The hitbox size of Justice Served was increased, and you heal health when ending domain now. The HP decrease is absolutely justified with how much stronger the rework made Higuruma, and the rest of the changes are generally fair too. As for the more complicated reworks, Higuruma's R special got changed heavily. It throws out a gavel that can do a lot of things. You can recall the gavel by pressing R as long as it hasn't reached max distance or hit somebody. Recalling a gavel makes it so that the move doesn't go on cooldown and doesn't consume Awakening meter. You're also able to recall your gavel by M1ing or using any of your moves, and some of your moves get unique variants if you use them while your gavel is out of your hand. Notably, your 1 and your 3, but also your 4, though that one kind of sucks. If your gavel hits someone, you can press R, which will make you rush very quickly towards their position, acting kind of like a swing shot. The gavel hit also does very small damage and brief stun, and it does hit ragdoll players, but will wake them up, so you probably don't want to do that, except at the end of a combo. Now for extended swings, the move no longer unstuns the enemy before the final hit, but you also can't press R during it to turn the final hit into a guard break. And once you start the swings, you're committed into that blockable final slam. It also speeds up after landing a hit. The move no longer being a mix-up is an interesting change. It's far more consistent in combos now, and so you can pretty consistently put it in a combo string and you'll be fine. I think that's actually a good thing balance-wise, since the whole 50-50 guess that made Higuruma either deal insane damage or no damage each combo made it a little bit weird to balance out his combo damage. However, it does make the move a lot more linear overall. Since you can't 50-50 anymore, if you land a normal version on somebody's block, they can simply hold block and deal with the whole thing, unlike before where they had to guess between continuing to hold block or unblocking. Don't mistake that for me saying the rework nerfed the move, it's undeniably a buff. The move is also still incredibly strong for catching people in neutral because of the big hitbox, catching people who unblock after you M1 their block twice, since this move comes out fast enough to do that, or catching people out of forward dashes or side dash block bypasses. It's a really powerful move for cheesing close range interactions and punishing people who try to punish you, and therefore makes fighting Higuruma very oppressive because you never know if he'll just press his 1 and immediately start swinging. The move did also get a variant. If you use it while your gavel is in the air from your R special, it instead immediately does a guard breaking swipe that it used to have on the old version. If you hit a counter or a block, it'll stun the opponent, which lets you get an M1 combo in. If you just hit them normally though, they get knocked back and you can't really follow up off of it. It's incredibly strong, mainly because when you hit someone with R and then rush towards them by pressing R again, a lot of people's first instinct is to block, and if they do follow that instinct, you press 1 and they'll be guard broken, letting you get your big damage combo in. It's also important to note that the move's startup is extremely low, like way faster than your 2, near instant. So even against good players who could react to your 2 and dash, or M1, it'll catch them because it's just that quick. Judgment's reach also got reworked. It now thrusts the gavel forward very quickly in a short line. This initial hit is blockable, but does push the opponent to the edge of the move's range when landed, regardless of if they block it or not. If you land it, they're stunned for a bit of time, but it doesn't stun if they block it. If you press the move again before the gavel reaches the end of its range, it'll follow up with a secondary hit that bypasses block, slamming the gavel into the ground. This secondary hit ragdolls them for a decent amount of time, and you can confirm into it by landing the first hit of the move. You can also change the direction of the second hit by moving your character's direction until the move ends, giving you a lot of time to catch people even if they dodge the first hit. If your gavel is thrown, using the move will also skip directly to the second part. Like a lot of the new stuff added, this move comes out extremely fast, and so if someone is trying to dash towards you or is walking in your direction and they're not holding F because they're just not being careful, using the move will catch them and put them into a ragdoll, which you can then combo off of with pressing charges to deal a lot of damage. Throwing your gavel to immediately get to the second part of the move also lets you catch people off guard with a very quick, long-range block bypass that again leads into combos. Notably though, the move can be pretty punishable on whiff, so it's way less of an offensive move and more focused around punishing people who don't block, as well as passively just adding pressure by forcing the opponent to be on guard for it. It's not that unfair of a move, though maybe it could use a bit more startup, but it is still very strong and can do a lot if the opponent isn't careful in how they deal with it. Finally, trolling strikes just got scrapped entirely in favor of a move called pressing charges. Using this move makes you rush forward, and this rush can hit ragdoll, in which case it'll pick them up. After the initial rush, it'll then do a part where you run forward, and then do a strike with your gavel that can be triggered early by pressing the 2 again. The first part of your move true combos into the second part, and neither parts of the move ragdoll, meaning you can M1 off of them. However, they set your M1s to the third one in your string. Both parts of the move are blockable, and while you can run away with the second part of the move, even if your one gets blocked, if that second part does get blocked, you'll get punished for sure. There's also a variant for when your gavel is in the air that makes it so that the second part of the move doesn't happen, but I have no idea why you'd want to use this version. It honestly sucks. The move's ability to hit ragdoll makes it incredibly strong for combos, and paired with the fact that it unragdolls people while stunning them so you can land an M1 on them, it's one of those glue moves that are super important for comboing people because of how it can connect moves together that normally don't connect. In neutral, it's also pretty good as a quick way to close a gap if you can catch someone off guard, and the fact that it can't be punished because of that second run letting you get far from the opponent, unless they're Hanami who can punish you with their long-range buttons, makes it kind of a safer way to catch people who aren't blocking than Judgment's reach. If you think someone isn't blocking, you can use it, and boom, you got an M1 combo to then use into extended swings into all your other moves or something. Now, let's talk about the general state of balance for Higuruma. The big thing I'll say about the rework is that it makes his combos a lot easier to do, with way more freedom in how you structure them. He has 3 moves that hit ragdoll, and one of those moves picks people up, setting you back to your third M1 so you can confirm into the one move that doesn't hit ragdoll, that being extended swings, if you didn't have it off cooldown when you started your combo. This gives him the same quality that a lot of recent characters have had, where they're able to pretty much convert any hit, no matter what, into a combo. If you ragdoll somebody with a stray hit from any of your moves, you can just use pressing charges to go to M1s, or keep the ragdoll going with Justice Served or Judgment's Reach. It is very difficult to mess up a combo with Higuruma, and that also makes his neutral incredibly good because not only are his reworked moves really useful in neutral, albeit you need to think a bit about how you use them, but they also lead into the same huge damage combos you'd get off of landing an M1. You're not forced to M1 trade, and you can dominate both close and mid-range interactions. Like old Higuruma, you force your opponent to constantly guess about what you'll do, and if they guess wrong, they die. Except now he's a lot more consistent, so if you guess wrong, it's not like his combo suddenly stops dealing damage, and it's a lot easier to put them in those situations where they have to guess, rather than it just being close range and inside of combos. Here's some examples. Off of his R special, the opponent has to guess in a 50-50 whether to block or unblock. If they block and Higuruma uses a variant on his 1, they'll be guard broken and comboed. If they unblock and Higuruma decides to M1, they'll get M1'd and put into a combo. Up close, the opponent also has to decide whether to block or unblock. If they block and Higuruma predicts that and uses Justice Served, they can get guard broken if they don't act quickly enough, which leads into a combo. And even if they do unblock before the move lands, they'll probably still get hit by the move, which also leads into a combo because all his stuff hits ragdoll. If they decide not to block and instead M1 trade Higuruma, Higuruma can use his 1, which has a massive hitbox, to hit the opponent out of their M1s and start a combo off of that. Guess wrong, and you are in a combo. Then, at the mid-range, it's not as complex, it's mostly just a game of knowing when to block or not. But if you don't predict that Higuruma will use his 3 or 4 and block accordingly, then he'll hit you and get a combo. That makes it so that you have to guess when you can safely approach with one of your moves, or when you need to hold F to avoid his moves. Higuruma always has pressure on the opponent, and there is literally no moment when you can safely just waltz around him. He's one of the most oppressive characters in the game when you use him correctly, and while I'm not sure as to whether I think he's overpowered, he definitely isn't underpowered, and his rework is extremely strong. He's just as oppressive as Yuji, if not even more, and honestly you could justify taking 5 more HP from him and setting Higuruma to 85. The rework is that good. Regardless, that's all I have to say about Higuruma so far. He's absolutely solid and a really fun character to play because of all the options you have. Anyways, that's the end of the video. If you liked watching, make sure to subscribe since it helps out a lot. I'm Noob Eternally, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye.